What the United States did in Afghanistan 40 years ago, it is doing again in Ukraine. Thankfully, there is Russia around to stop Joe Biden's plans. Had it not been there, Joe Biden would ensure the creation of Taliban 2.0 this time in Ukraine. Hi and welcome. You're watching TFI Global, the foreign affairs and the geopolitical analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Tejasvi Malhotra, and in this video I will give you the brass facts that really led to Russian President Vladimir Putin invading Ukraine. Let's begin. War has broken out in Eastern Europe. Russian forces have invaded Ukraine. Joe Biden, in the initial stages of the Russian onslaught, said he and his wife were praying for Ukraine and its people. Biden then went to sleep. Ukraine continues to be pounded by an immeasurable Russian offensive involving ground troops, artillery, missile and rocket strikes, and consistent air and naval campaigns. What do you think Joe Biden is doing? Well, he has decided to create another Taliban, this time in Eastern Europe. The Biden administration has been supplying lethal weapons to Ukrainian militias called the Azov Battalion and Right sector. These Ukrainian militias are most active in the Donbas region of eastern Ukraine, where they continuously fight Russia-backed separatists. These Ukrainian militias also harbor neo-Nazi ideologies and have a significant say in the decision-making that goes on in Kyiv.
Hey, it's me, Atul. I started this channel. We started small, we went big. Suddenly, the whitey police was after us. We dodged and ducked, but the algos got us really bad. So we designed our own app. It's free. We never asked for money, we never will. But the droid called us too sensitive and blocked us. We still have an Apple app. Join us and fast, because if you don't, we will cease to exist. Check out the link in the description.
These militias hate LGBT and Romani people and attack anti-fascist demonstrations. So guess what Biden is doing? He is gifting these militias with Stinger and Javelin missiles. The United States is providing both lethal as well as non-lethal military aid to Ukraine and its militias. Apart from the Ukrainian army, these militant irregulars will also be engaging in man-to-man combat with Russia. Estimates peg the number of such militants at 130,000. Yet, a Russian victory seems incorrigible. Do you think Ukraine stands a chance against a Russian offense of the scale and size we are witnessing? Definitely not. The militias know this. They will follow the trajectory of the Afghan Mujahideen. In the 1980s and 1990s, several Afghan Mujahideen groups were armed to the teeth of the United States. This resulted in each group growing very powerful, and later infighting broke out. The Taliban emerged victorious in the aftermath of this infighting, and a brutal civil war broke out in Afghanistan. Today, that very Taliban runs Afghanistan. That Taliban had last year made American forces run with tails between their legs out of Kabul. Yet, Joe Biden has learned no lessons. What the US did in Afghanistan during the 70s and 80s is being replicated by Joe Biden in Ukraine in 2022. A few years down the line, Ukrainian militia armed with lethal American weapons will create a security nightmare for NATO in Eastern Europe. There is a silver lining though. Russia might deal with these militias on an immediate basis, thereby saving America the trouble of having to invade Europe after a few years in the name of counter-terrorism operations. Meanwhile, Ukraine has allowed all civilians to carry and use arms. Ukraine's parliament on Wednesday voted to approve a law that gives permission to Ukrainians to carry firearms and act in self-defense. What is being witnessed in Ukraine is the spread of militant tendencies at the behest of the Biden administration. Unorganized groups of bigoted ruffians are being given lethal weapons by the Biden administration. And yet, Russia is being made out to be the repository of all evil. Ask yourself, if your enemy begins arming another enemy of yours, what would be your reaction? Vladimir Putin asked himself the same question, and the results are out for all of us to see. The Russian invasion of Ukraine might just prove to be the death knell for Biden's nefarious plans to create a Taliban-like outfit in Eastern Europe.